Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let's get straight into it. You've probably heard it before. A woman says, "You're intimidating," and you're left wondering, what does that even mean? You're not rude, you're not arrogant, you're just confident, disciplined, maybe even in the best shape of your life. Yet somehow, she says you make her nervous. That one sentence, "you're intimidating," is a coded message, and today I'm going to decode it for you. Before we go deeper, make sure you subscribe and like this video, because what I'm about to explain is something most men never get to hear honestly, and it might just change the way you understand women forever. When a woman calls a fit, mature man intimidating, she's not talking about fear in the physical sense. It's psychological, it's emotional. What she's really saying is, you make me feel exposed, because your presence, your calmness, your discipline, your silence reflects everything she hasn't yet mastered within herself. You see, confidence without the need for validation is rare. Most people, men or women, derive confidence from attention. But when a man walks in a room and doesn't need to be seen to feel powerful, that's magnetic and also unsettling. It forces her to confront a mirror she didn't ask for. It's not your muscles that intimidate her. It's what they represent: consistency, control, a man who's faced pain and didn't fold. She senses that energy instantly. It's the energy of a man who doesn't chase, who doesn't settle, who knows his value. And that level of quiet authority challenges her instincts. Here's the uncomfortable truth: most women are used to influence. Social media feeds them attention 24/7, but when they meet a man who isn't chasing likes or validation, it flips the script. She doesn't know how to lead that kind of interaction, because for once, she's not the one with emotional power. So she calls you intimidating. But beneath that word is something deeper: respect, curiosity, and a hint of attraction she doesn't fully understand yet. It's her subconscious admitting, "You affect me more than I expected." Stay with me, because understanding what women really mean by that one word can completely shift how you move in dating and relationships, once you learn how to interpret it through psychology, not insecurity. When a woman says you're intimidating, she's not rejecting you. She's revealing her internal conflict. It's her emotional defense system trying to protect her from feeling vulnerable. You represent something that activates both her attraction and her fear. Attraction, because she senses power, maturity, and direction. Fear, because that same power could expose her insecurities. Think about it. Society constantly tells women they want a strong man. But strength, when it's real, when it's calm and unapologetic, doesn't look like what most are prepared for. It's not loud. It doesn't chase. It doesn't explain itself. It just is. And that's the part that shakes them. Because when a man's energy isn't easily controlled or influenced, it forces her to be real too. Many women today are used to emotional predictability. They can sense when a man's impressed by them, when he'll compromise himself to please them. But when she looks at you, a man with discipline, self-awareness, maybe grey at the temples but fire in the eyes, she realizes you don't need her approval. And that's where the unease begins. You have to understand something deep here. Intimidation in this context is a sign of emotional impact. If you didn't affect her, she wouldn't say that word. It's her way of acknowledging your presence without directly confessing attraction. Because to her, saying "you intimidate me" is safer than saying "you make me feel something I can't control." But here's where many men go wrong. They try to soften themselves when they hear it. They downplay their confidence, joke it off, or try to prove they're approachable. Big mistake. The moment you do that, you shift from being the grounded masculine force that drew her in to another man trying to be liked. A truly confident man doesn't defend his energy. He doesn't argue or explain why he's intimidating. He just smiles, calmly, knowingly, and says something like, "You'll get used to me." Because deep down, she wants to. She wants to understand that level of steadiness. You see, being called intimidating isn't a problem to fix. It's feedback that you're operating on a higher frequency, one she hasn't fully met yet. And whether she admits it or not, she's drawn to it. Not because she wants to control it, but because she wants to feel safe in it. Here's what most men never realize. When a woman calls you intimidating, she's also testing you. subconsciously. She's trying to see how you respond to her discomfort, because if your confidence is real, it won't crack just because someone labels it. It's one of the oldest psychological patterns in female attraction, testing emotional strength through subtle words. She wants to see if your power is controlled or if it's fragile. If you flinch, over-explain, or act apologetic, she knows your dominance was just a mask. But if you stay centered, grounded, maybe even amused, she senses that your confidence isn't performance, it's identity. See, women live in a world of emotional subtleties. They notice tone, micro-expressions, pauses, everything that reveals authenticity. When she says you're intimidating, she's inviting you to show whether you're the type of man who can handle her emotional volatility without losing composure. Because deep down, she's not looking for a man who matches her chaos. She's looking for one who grounds it. Most men misunderstand this and start performing alpha. They become louder, colder, or overly dominant, thinking intimidation equals control. But that's not masculine confidence. That's insecurity dressed as power. The real thing is quiet. It's not in your voice, it's in your stillness. The way you look at her without flinching, the way you listen without trying to impress. When a fit, older man carries himself like that, his age and discipline become assets, not obstacles. To her, your maturity signals something primal, emotional safety. You're not reacting to every stimulus. You're not desperate for attention. You've seen enough of life to be calm in the storm. And that kind of energy is both comforting and disarming. That's why women often say, "You make me nervous." What they really mean is, "You make me feel seen." Because you're not chasing her image, you're perceiving her reality. And that scares her a little. She's used to controlling how she's seen. But you see through the performance. That's what real intimidation is. It's not about how loud your presence is. It's about how deeply it penetrates someone's emotional armor. The kind of presence that doesn't demand attention. It commands it, quietly. So the next time a woman says you're intimidating, don't take it as a warning. Take it as confirmation. Your energy is finally speaking louder than your words. Now here's where things get more complex, because not every woman who calls you intimidating actually wants to walk away. Some will say it, but then keep orbiting around your presence. She'll text you again. She'll show up in the same places. She'll ask small, meaningless questions just to stay connected. Why? Because even though she feels uncertain, she's drawn to the feeling you create inside her. It's the paradox of attraction. On one hand, she's slightly unsettled by how composed you are. On the other, that exact steadiness feels like emotional gravity. You're not giving her the usual validation loops she's used to. No instant compliments, no predictable attention. And that makes her brain light up with curiosity. Because for the first time in a long time, she's the one trying to figure someone out. What you must understand is that intimidation is often her way of saying, "You affect my emotional rhythm." You make her heart speed up, her thoughts race, her self-control waver. And instead of saying, "You make me feel alive," she masks it behind that word, intimidating. A lot of men underestimate how emotionally intelligent women are. They can read micro shifts in your behavior faster than you realize. So when she can't read you, when your calmness stays unbroken, she's both intrigued and slightly unsettled. Her feminine energy thrives on movement, emotion, and exchange. But your masculine energy stays still. That contrast, it's electric. Here's the secret. The reason fit older men are especially labeled intimidating is because they radiate completion. They've built themselves, body, mind, and presence, and that completeness creates an unspoken hierarchy. You're no longer trying to be chosen, you've already chosen yourself. And that, psychologically, puts pressure on her to rise to your level. Many won't admit this, but deep down, that's what women crave. A man who doesn't compete for approval, but inspires elevation. She might resist it at first. She might even test you harder. But if your calm stays consistent, she starts to feel something she rarely does: admiration. The key is not to chase or convince. Don't lean in when she says you intimidate her. Just stay present. Let her emotional energy orbit yours until she realizes that what she calls intimidation is actually respect mixed with desire. And that combination, when handled with grace, transforms everything about how women see you. Here's the truth most men never hear. When a woman says you're intimidating, she's really reacting to emotional polarity. You've triggered something ancient inside her that modern dating often dulls. You've reminded her of what genuine masculine energy feels like: steady, protective, and quietly powerful. It's not toxic, not domineering, it's rooted. And that scares her only because it's rare. You see, most men today dilute their masculine energy to appear safe. They over-explain, apologize for being confident, or hide their ambition to avoid being seen as arrogant. But in doing so, they lose their edge, the very thing that ignites female attraction. A woman doesn't truly fall for comfort. She falls for presence, for the feeling of being around a man who's deeply sure of who he is. That's why fit older men stand out. You've already lived enough life to stop pretending. You've failed, rebuilt, learned discipline, and carry yourself like someone who's seen both chaos and calm, and mastered both. That kind of lived experience radiates an energy younger men can't fake. Women feel it instantly, even if they can't explain it. She senses it in the way you move, the way you listen without interrupting, the way your silence carries weight. You're not seeking approval, you're granting peace. And that level of masculine serenity is intoxicating, but it also makes her question her own readiness. Because to stand beside that kind of man, she can't just be attractive, she has to be centered. And here's the deeper layer. When she calls you intimidating, she's also confessing something silently. I don't fully trust myself around you. You awaken her feminine energy, softness, surrender, vulnerability, parts of herself that modern culture told her to suppress. So she labels the experience instead of feeling it. That's why her words sound like resistance, but her eyes tell a different story. Don't mistake her momentary discomfort for rejection. Often it's transformation in progress. She's recalibrating around your energy. The right move isn't to retreat or dominate. It's to remain still, grounded, consistent, because your steadiness gives her subconscious permission to relax into it. And that's when the intimidation fades, replaced by trust. And once a woman trusts your calmness, she doesn't just desire you, she chooses you, not because of how you look, but because of how she feels in your presence. Safe, seen, and quietly drawn to the power you never had to announce. Here's the most important truth of all. When a woman calls you intimidating, it's not a reflection of something wrong with you. It's a reflection of the contrast you create. You stand as proof that strength and peace can exist in the same man. And that balance, power without chaos, is what modern dating rarely gives her. You're not competing for attention, you're commanding inner respect. And that more than anything reveals the difference between noise and presence. See, intimidation is just the name she gives to the unfamiliar. A man who doesn't chase validation is unfamiliar. A man who has emotional control instead of emotional reaction is unfamiliar. A man who's fit, confident, yet humble. That's not what most women see every day. So she labels that feeling of awe, uncertainty, and respect as intimidating because she has no simpler word for it. But here's what's beautiful. That word, intimidating, is just the beginning of curiosity. Once she realizes your energy isn't dominance, but depth, she feels safe exploring it. The fear turns into fascination. The unease becomes intrigue. Because she starts to understand, you don't want to overpower her, you want to inspire her. You see, true masculine energy doesn't compete with femininity. It protects it, it holds space for it, it gives it freedom to flow without fear. And that's why, when you remain centered, when you don't chase or explain, you silently teach her what stability actually feels like. You stop being the intimidating guy and become the man who makes me feel calm. The world might call that power. Psychology calls it presence. And women, no matter how modern or independent, will always respond to that, not because it's controlling, but because it's anchoring. So never tone yourself down just because your strength makes someone uneasy. You've earned that presence. It's built from discipline, heartbreak, victories, and years of growth. You are the product of every challenge you didn't run from. Let your silence speak for you. Let your confidence remain calm. Let your energy be the kind that steadies a room. Because in the end, the woman who once said you were intimidating will either walk away or evolve to meet you. And the right one, the one who sees beyond the label, won't call you intimidating anymore. She'll call you safe. She'll call you home.